Christmas morning arrived, just as it always did, with Claire flitting about like a snow-dusted sparrow while I sipped my coffee and muttered under my breath about the expenses. Our home was adorned with tinsel and sparkling fairy lights, and the air was filled with the aroma of roasting turkey and the citrusy notes of mulled wine. Yet my mind was solely focused on the sacred Boxing Day football matches, a beacon of normalcy amidst the obligatory festivities. At 8 o'clock, I received a call from my sister, Victoria. "Roy," she said briskly, "expect Terry today." "Terry who?" "You know, Terry, the big guy with the Canadian accent. He showed up here yesterday, claiming he's tracing family roots or something. I couldn't keep him, Leanne needed me, but I told him he'd be welcome at your place." "Did you really?" I replied, tightening the grip on the phone. "Oh, come on," she retorted. "He's family, Mum's side from British Columbia. Aunt Mabel's funeral, remember? That was ages ago. You probably met him there." "I don't remember." "Well, he's harmless and amusing in his own way." "Amusing?" She dismissed my skepticism. "Look, he's a traveler. He'll have stories to tell. Anyway, Merry Christmas." And with that, she hung up. An hour later, a heavy knock reverberated through the front door. Terry was quite a sight, a towering man with thick facial hair and a ruddy nose that shone like Santa's legendary reindeer. His coat appeared to have endured every Canadian winter since Confederation, and his rucksack was stuffed with mysterious treasures. "I'm Terry," he announced, extending a hand the size of a dinner plate. Before I could fully grasp the situation, Claire appeared beside me. "Please come in, dear," she said, guiding him inside. Claire's warmth compensated for my chilliness. She took his rucksack, fussed over him like a long-lost nephew, and led him into the living room where our first guests had already started to arrive. "Merry Christmas, Terry!" Everyone rearranged themselves to fit in an additional seat. "I hail from Vancouver," he stated, extending his hand. "And you are?" "I'm Edith, dear, and this is Dorothy." By the time dinner was served, Terry had captivated everyone in the room, addressing each guest by name. Even the shyest among us listened intently as he shared stories of the Canadian Rockies, serenading strangers beneath shimmering auroras, and hitchhiking across golden deserts with just a canteen and a song. Terry's booming voice reverberated through every sash window in our home, filling even the dustiest corners. His enchanting presence seemed to make the tinsel sparkle even more. It felt like he had an internal furnace radiating a vibrant energy. Honestly, if I didn't know better, I would think he was on the verge of bursting into flames. "You've created a wonderful home here, Claire," he remarked as we dug into turkey and stuffing. "A genuine hearth for the soul. Not many can claim that." "Not at all," Claire blushed, dismissing his compliment with a laugh. "Roy and I make a great team." Terry caught my gaze and smiled, observing my reaction. I looked away, nodding in agreement, and noticed a flicker of pride on Claire's face. After dinner, our guests settled in the living room with cups of tea. That's when Terry unveiled his drum. "You know," he began, adopting a storyteller's tone, "the ideal setting for storytelling is a cave, firelight dancing on the walls, shadows moving like spirits." My two maiden aunts gasped in delight, captivated by the ancient imagery. "However," he continued, taking a breath, "we'll make do with this lovely home." Terry's fingertips tapped out intricate rhythms as he warmed up, punctuating his words with firm palm thumps. The room became quiet. Even I, despite my skepticism, felt a spark of curiosity. As Terry started to play, a steady rhythm seemed to resonate in the very air. His voice followed, deep and vibrant, weaving a narrative of love and loyalty, of homes constructed not from bricks and mortar, but from kindness and warmth. He sang about beautiful souls leaving memorable impressions on life's enigmatic journey, rather than leaving permanent marks. He included Claire in the tale, lauding her generosity and referring to her as the heart of our home. "You're a fortunate man, Roy," he remarked, his gaze piercing through me. The room burst with applause. Claire's cheeks were rosy, her eyes sparkling. For the first time in years, I viewed her, not merely as my wife, but the woman she truly was, the one I had somehow overlooked. The next day, as Claire hummed to herself in the kitchen, the phone rang. It was Victoria. "So," she inquired, "how was Terry?" I squinted my mouth to one side. "Charming, but odd." He's definitely the black sheep. Are you certain he's family?" "Honestly, no one knows for sure," she answered. "All we know is he's from Canada. He mentioned he's tracing his family roots, or something. No one recalls him from Aunt Mabel's funeral. Henry thought he looked familiar, but who can say? He might have just heard the Meller name during his travels." The line crackled for a moment. "Are you suggesting he might not be family at all?" Victoria chuckled. "He's gone, isn't he? What's the risk?" Gone. The word hung in the air as I ended the call. Who was Terry, and how had he ended up at our Christmas table, filling our home with music and light? Claire looked at me as I walked back into the kitchen. "What's troubling you?" she asked, placing a poinsettia on yesterday's vacant table. "Nothing," I replied, my mind swirling with inquiries. And then, almost instinctively, I reached out and took her hand. Maybe it was irrelevant who Terry was, whether he was a relative, a traveling musician, or a messenger from destiny. He had left something behind. A sense of warmth, a reminder. Life, after all, winds along uncertain routes, and for the first time I found it less bothersome, even though I still disliked Christmas. There's football later, so that's all right.